Hello everyone. I hope you are all safe and you guys are maintaining social distancing. And today is the first session. I'm going to clear some of your doubts in your subject, that is law of torts. Today I'm going to discuss the concept of malice in law and malice in fact. Before going in detail regarding these particular concepts, let me explain first what is malice. Malice is ill motive. Malice is evil motive. Malice is ill intention. When you are going to do a particular act with an evil motive, with a guilty mind, that is, you are acting maliciously. Inside your head, you are planning something wrong. You have an evil motive. You have a bad intention. That is malice. Now, I have uttered these two terms, that is motive and intention. Now, let me define, before going into this particular concept, that is motive and intention, let me tell you, in law of torts, motive and intention is not the determining factor. It's not the criteria to determine a wrongful act. Whereas in criminal law, intention forms a part of stages of crime, not the motive, but the intention. There are 4 stages of crime: intention, preparation, attempt, and actual commission. You can remember with an abbreviation, IPAC. This happens in case of criminal law, but not in case of torts. Now, what is motive? Motive is the driving force why you are going to commit a particular crime. And intention is what you are going to do to commit that particular crime. Now let me give you one example. Suppose, think I want to kill someone. Suppose think I want to kill someone. Your Prattyay sir wants to kill someone. Why he wants to kill? Because, say, Arshia ma'am said some bad words to me, have insulted me, or Bashona ma'am have insulted me, right? I want to take my revenge upon Bashona ma'am or Arshia ma'am by killing. I want to kill Bashona ma'am or Arshia ma'am. Why? Because they insulted me. I want to take revenge. This is my motive. Why I am doing this particular act. And what I am going to do? I am going to kill. I'm going to use a knife. I'm going to kill. This is my intention. This is my process. Motive is why I'm going to do this particular act? Because I want to take a revenge. My revenge is my motive. And I'm going to kill. My killing is my intention. The driving force is the motive. And what is going on inside my head is my intention, that I'm going to kill. I'm going to implement the process of my revenge through an intention. Okay? Now, this happens only in criminal law. Okay? Intention is a part of stages of crime. Motive is not. But in case of law of torts, neither motive nor intention forms a determining factor in case of a wrongful act. The court will not look into the matter in case of torts. But yes, there are some exceptions. I am going to explain these exceptions at the end. Now let me explain what is malice in law. As you have all understood what the term malice defines. As you have all understood what is an intention, what is a motive. Now let me explain what is malice in law. In this particular concept, the court will look into one single aspect, that is a wrongful conduct. It may be of an evil motive, it may be in a good motive. The motive is not a soulful criteria. The court will look into a prima facie wrongful act. Suppose, say, I want to steal some food for a poor children. Suppose think during these pandemic situations, during these coronavirus situations, suppose I don't have money, but I want to feed other children, and for that I need to steal some food from a shop. I stole some food and gave it to the poor children. Now the court will look into this particular aspect, that you cannot steal. This is prima facie, at first instance is a wrongful conduct. You cannot steal. It maybe you have a good intention, but you cannot do so. I am giving another example. Suppose one of my friends is treating their sons in a very bad manner. They are not giving his sons food, shelter. They are not. My friend is not allowing his sons to sleep. He's treating in a very bad condition. He's treating them very badly, and I saw that. Being a friend, I saw that my friend is treating his sons in a very bad manner. Then I have decided to take his son from their home, and I will bring his son into my home, and I will feed them. I cannot do so because I have kidnapped or I have abducted someone else's son. This is prima facie a wrongful act and a wrongful conduct which I don't have a legal justification. Maybe I can explain my good motive, but prima facie it is a wrongful act. This is malice in law. The court will look into the argument that prima facie you are conducting an act which is wrongful, and for that act you don't have a legal justification, not moral justification. Here I am proving that I want to give them proper food and shelter. This is my moral justification, but I cannot legally justify my act. Legally, in the eye of law, the court will not entertain me. The court will I will be held liable in a court of law. Got it? Now, let me explain what is malice in fact. Malice in fact has two angles. Number one is, a lawful act does not become wrongful because of a bad motive. And the second one is, a wrongful act with a good motive is not a lawful act. Getting my point? Now, in this particular case, that is South Wales Miners Federation versus Glamorgan Coal Company. In this case, I will explain the first aspect. That is, a wrongful act is not converted into a lawful act by a good motive. In this case, what happened? Let me explain the facts of this case. There was a miners' union, a trade union. Their point was, they were doing with a good motive, and they were saying that you take some certain holidays. They are demanding in front of the employers that my workers, that is under the trade union, our workers will take some certain holidays. Why? Because if they don't take holidays, there will be enough coal production. Less the number of holidays means there will be a much more production of coal, which will increase the supply and reduce the demand. and subsequently the price will come down. And if the price comes down, this will create an impact into the wages of the workers. So what the trade unions were saying, the workers wants to take some certain holidays, but according to the terms of the contract, they are not allowed to do so. They will breach the terms of the contract. So the association were sued by the employers. That is from the Glamorgan Coal Company. The company sued the association that they made a breach of contract because the workers took some certain holidays. The court says the defendant will be held liable. Why? Because prima facie they broke the law. Maybe they have a good motive, but they are not allowed to do so. Here the court didn't entertain good motive because they are breaching, they are breaking the law. They have violated the law. They may have a good motive, they may have a bad motive. In this case, they had a good motive, so that the demand of the coal should rise, and this will create a good impact in the wages of the workers. This was the argument made by the association, made by the trade union. But they made a violation of the provisions of the contract, that they were not allowed to take the holidays. Now, this particular aspect, the first aspect, was proved that a wrongful act is not converted into a lawful act by a good motive. A wrongful act with a good motive is not a lawful act. Now, let me explain the second aspect. A lawful act does not become wrongful because of a bad motive. A lawful act with a bad motive doesn't convert it into a wrongful act, because prima facie it is a lawful act. No one is breaking the law. As you have all read the case of damnum sine injuria, where, suppose I am giving an example. I want to build a shop. I want to construct a shop outside, just opposite to another shop with the same profession. Suppose there is one premise in your Howrah area, and suppose there is a food shop. Suppose say someone opened a shop naming SFC, fried chicken, something Shing's fried chicken or whatever you want to name. Like, I want in the opposite, I have opened another shop, QFC. By giving a competition, I have an ill motive to take his customer by producing good quality food with less price. I want to attract his customer. I want to pull his customer. This is my evil motive, so that his shop gets closed and I'll run a healthy business. No one can sue me because I haven't broke the law. I did a lawful act. Maybe inside my head I have an evil motive to damage someone, to destroy someone. But until and unless I am breaking the law, no one can sue me. The court will not entertain. I will not be held liable. Now let me explain what happens in this particular Bradford Corporation versus Pickles. The defendant has a reservoir under his home, and from that reservoir the water is flowing from an undefined channels, but that reservoir is located inside his home, under his home. Now what he did, he made certain excavation. He dug something so that the water flow gets stopped. And ultimately what happened? The water stopped flowing into the plaintiff's land, and the plaintiff suffered a huge setback. Then ultimately the plaintiff sued the defendant by saying the defendant has an evil motive. Yes, truly the defendant had an evil motive to stop the water supply so that the plaintiff doesn't get water. He made certain excavation and he dug because he has an evil motive. Yes, the plaintiff was true. But what the court says? The court says the defendant will not be held liable because he was doing inside his premises. It is his own land and he has every right to perform that act. He has every authority to do that particular act because he was not violating the law. He may have an evil motive, he may have a bad motive, but until and unless someone is breaking the law, he cannot be held liable. The court will not entertain. Okay? This is malice in fact. And what is malice in law? Prima facie it is a wrongful act. Prima facie it is a wrongful act. At first instance, it is a wrongful conduct. You may have a good motive, may have a bad motive. That will not be the determining criteria. Overall, in law of torts, motive doesn't play an important role. But whereas motive and intention doesn't play an important role. But whereas in criminal law, motive doesn't play an important role, but intention plays. It forms one of the part of the stages of crime. And what the malice in fact is saying, malice in fact has two aspects. That is, one, a lawful act does not become wrongful because of a bad motive. This is number one. And number two, that a wrongful act is not converted into a lawful act by a good motive. Remember these two aspects. You have to write in your answer this particular two aspect under malice in fact. And there are no separate criteria for malice in law. In malice in law, prima facie it is a wrongful conduct. Whether you have a good motive, whether you have a bad motive, the court will not look into it. The court will look into it that you have committed certain wrongful act at first instance. Getting my point? Now, there are some exceptions where an evil motive forms a part of tort. What are the exceptions? In case of nuisance, if you are disturbing someone else's comfort, if you are burning smoke, that is creating a disturbance into the neighbor's land. You cannot do so. In case of conspiracy, malicious prosecution, it is an essential to be proved by the plaintiff. That is, the burden of proof lies with the plaintiff that he has not acted maliciously. Sorry, my apologies. It is the burden of proof lies upon the plaintiff that the defendant has acted maliciously with an evil motive. Here, in these exceptional cases, motive, the court will look into the motive part, but not in general cases. Now, malice or evil motive may result in aggravation of damages. Why aggravation of damages? Initially, you have to pay a certain amount of money. Suppose, say 10,000 rupees. If you have an evil motive, suppose you have conducted a wrongful act, right? Suppose for that you have to pay rupees 10,000. The court awarded. Now, the court found out you have an evil motive. Now you will pay 50,000, 5 times more. The court will aggravate your damages. The court will increase your damages, increase your compensation. Now, another exception is there. In certain cases of defamation, when qualified privilege or fair comment is pleaded as a defense, motive becomes relevant. Suppose you have published a statement which you believe is true, or you says that these facts needs to be published in order for a public safety. This is your motive. Inside your head, you have a strong motive. You have a good motive that this fact needs to come out publicly for the good of the people. I want to inform the people. I have made a fair use. I have made a fair comment. I have maybe that person may have suffered by my publication of statement, but my motive was good for public safety. I have made a fair comment. This is an exceptions. Well, these are the exception means that motive will play an important role. But in case of malice in law and malice in fact, then in general cases, in law of torts, neither motive nor intention will play a role. But in criminal law, only the intention will play a role, not the motive. I think you have understood this particular concept. If you have any question, just put it in your group. I'll revert back with another video message. I hope you all are safe and maintain physical and social distancing during these tough times. Thank you all.